I like. I mean, I kind of think Manziel is right there too. But you know what? You know what they have in common?
Winners
They won
in
Heisman
college.
trophies. They
Yeah,
won
they're in
Heisman trophies,
college.
man.
Yeah, winners in college, not so much in pros. Yeah. All right, we'll get back into.
I mean, that's something.
It's something.
That's something.
It's something.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'd like to win the Heisman Trophy.
You want a good watch if you haven't seen it. Number one, watch SEC story. I have begged Tyler, and I told him I might bring this up in the next segment because it's going to be another short one. Wishbone. There is some stuff in that is phenomenal.
Right.
803-404-6100. You're listening to Jay Phillips, Bill Gunner, Tyler Head back in studio. It is the halftime show. 12:49 on a Monday. It is July the 28th, but it feels like we are officially kicking off college football season as a lot of teams, not just South Carolina, but a lot of teams will head to the practice fields coming up this coming week. A lot of teams report. South Carolina, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong on this, will report on Thursday afternoon for their official team meeting, with first practice occurring Friday.
I know Thursday is another media day opportunity, so
Okay.
there will be have some of this, but then the players will have, and Shane will talk again on Thursday, but there's all the player availability on Thursday as well.
Yeah. So
I'd love to correct you if you were right.
Yep, there you go. That's you join the list. There's a long line of people.
Oh, don't worry, I get corrected all the time.
That would love to do that, but it does feel like we're officially getting into it. Jay is upset that on Thursday night we actually have football to watch, the Hall of Fame game.
Oh no, it is like I'm being forced to. Trust me, my man. I will not.
Jay, it is a celebration of the return of football. We don't have to.
Yeah,
we
what
don't
is
have
wrong
to,
with you?
We don't have to bet on it, but it is nice to have on TV while you're going
Tyler
about your
Head,
Thursday night activities.
People will bet on the Hall of Fame.
I know they will. They put out a line for a reason.
Like the Lions in the first half.
I listen.
Brian Edwards, a Vegas insider, will be joining us to break that down.
Listen, there is going to be a wide receiver for one of these teams that's going to get cut next week anyway. That's going to have a critical drop in the fourth quarter. That's going to cost somebody a lot of money.
And that's why you don't bet on sports, kids.
That's why I'm doing.
That's
sports
why
talk
you
radio.
don't bet on sports.
That's why I'm here doing.
No,
this
I won't.
Job.
I mean, I might, Tyler. To your point, I might tune in.
This is reminding me a lot of Wes Mitchell's stance on week 0. Are you familiar with him being a week 0 denier?
Are you familiar with me being one? In fact,
Lord.
Elijah Campbell and I
boy.
not only did we think the term week 0 is dumb, we decided it was so dumb that we said football now starts on the 0th week of the season.
But
how dumb is that?
But are you against watching it? Is the question?
No, they're real games.
Yeah.
It's just that week 0 is a dumb name.
So you don't like the name. That's fine. Like Wes is against watching week 0 because he's
it's not bad.
It's just
as
an
a
appetizer.
protest.
I'd rather take on the full meal the next week.
Okay, that's fair. I will say if it was a protest to discourage the usage of the term week 0, then I would back Wes up on that. But again, that's why Elijah and I came up with 0th week. Nobody would walk around going, hey, it's the 0th week of the school year. It's the 0th week of Christmas vacation. It's the 0th week of anything because it's dumb.
I don't know.
Right?
I used to, whenever we'd go back to school, it was always on like a Friday. For some reason, that kind of felt like the 0th week.
Day 0.
Yeah, but did you call it that? Because if you did, then that would be
honestly,
dumb.
we could have. That would have been a cool name. Hey, it's day 0.
Sure, but unfortunately, that's not how we start counting in this world.
No, you bring it up. I got to go with day 0. I'm good with day 0. Go with Friday.
No,
the kids
I am not a week 0 denier in terms of the football that is played because again, at the end of those games, someone will be 1-0 and someone will be 0-1. Therefore, they counted. Unlike Thursday night, which has absolutely no bearing on anything.
Love it. Chargers, Lions gear up Thursday night. Big watch party somewhere. Can't wait.
Over under on Justin Herbert snaps.
0.
Under
0.
half.
0. Yeah, take 0. 0 and under.
And Jared Goff snaps too, right?
0. Yeah, that's not what it's all about. It's about seeing American football, not Canadian football, where they run from 10 yards deep and then take off at the line of
What
scrimmage.
is a rouge?
Oh, it's when they get a point for missing. You can miss the field goal, but if it goes past the end zone, you get a point, right?
You get a rouge?
Yeah.
That's what the rouge is?
Isn't that what that is?
I just remember there's a great line in The Simpsons when there was the strike one year, and The Simpsons had a bit about Homer having to watch Canadian football, and they got these guys with Canadian accents, and the guy's like, and here's Montreal, a team that's had only 2 rouges all season, and Homer has this glazed over look on his face.
I will admit, I think it was late Saturday afternoon. I was watching, I think Montreal and Toronto or something, and no, it was not an old baseball game. And
weren't you on vacation?
Man,
what the hell are you doing watching the Canadian Football League on a Saturday? You have a boat. You have a boat.
Football sickos
I come back
never
from an
sleep,
ocean.
Jay. Football sickos never sleep.
Yeah, for those that question my commitment to my hosting responsibilities,
no.
Didn't know if Canadian Football League would be brought up on a Monday. I do actually. Now that y'all bring this up, on week
Yes,
0.
you do have a boat. We did bring it
Yeah,
up.
yeah.
Yes.
I do want to come back to this. There's so many things, there's so many things that I have that poor Tyler's going to be stuck with me all week. One of which is Michigan and Western. Is it Western? I think it's Western Michigan.
It is.
I don't have it right in front of me. Going to Germany, because y'all talk about week 0, and I assume y'all mean the college football season. What are we doing to the good people of Ireland? Why are we sending Iowa State and Kansas State?
I have no idea.
Like, what are we doing? And what are we doing to the people of Germany? Like, hey, here's Michigan. Cool. Here's Western Michigan. Huh? What?
Hey, I don't know. They don't know what it is either.
Also, willingly playing in front of a stadium half the size of yours is dumb to me.
Yeah,
I don't think it really grows the brand the way they think it's going to.
Tyler, we're going to get into that this week.
Plus, by then it'll be like the second week of the Bundesliga, and trust me,
that more interesting.
that's going to going to matter just a touch more.
All right, hour 2 will start.
We'll get some coaches out here pretty soon.
Yep, everybody appears to be wrapping up. Jay Phillips, Bill Gunner, live from Cobblestone Park. Birdies with Beamer. Tyler Head back in studio. It is the halftime show. 1 o'clock on your Monday, July the 28th, wrapping up the month of July. Jay Phillips hanging out with Tyler Head, who is back in studio. Jay and I out here at Cobblestone Farms for Birdies with Beamer in this hour. It'll be it might be a little hectic. We are expecting some coaches to come through as they will be arriving. To my knowledge, and I looked, I don't. Hey man, this is when I've watched this evolution. This is when a coach knows, hey, we're off a 9-3 season. There's a little more pressure on us.
Right.
We got a quarterback. None of you boys playing golf with the media folks today.
Right. Yeah. No, they had I think a scheduling quirk, and they were at a really big coaching clinic in Greenville today. So they are en route, from what I am told. They back from Greenville and on the way here to the course, and most of the staff will be here. Shane is expected to speak, and we'll carry the whole thing live around 2. But yeah, I believe he's going to come join us for a couple minutes beforehand, and I think Coach Sean Elliott's going to come out here. We'll try to grab as many as we can. There is a lunch, so we don't want to interrupt him too much, but we'll try to find a way to get those guys out here in just a little bit. But yeah, they're back into it. But you're right, man. I mean, that's to me, that's that's the theme of the season. The story of the season is not only are you coming off a 9-win year, but you've been picked to finish higher than you did last year in the Southeastern Conference. And carrying those expectations is now a big part of what this program is. They're gonna, I mean, they love it. They'll embrace it. That's what they're here for. They're not here to go, we'll see what happens. They're here to win football games, and they'll be but they're expected to do big things.
Well, you and I, all fair, we have a lot of conversations, and we don't get to have many that are on air. One of them, and I'll bring up to you and Tyler, and I think, Tyler, I've started to bring this up to you a little bit. I feel like these last 9 months, I've watched the maturation of a football program. And I'm not trying in any way, and I got to figure out how to frame this to Coach Beamer when he sits down with us so I don't annoy him and he slaps me in the back of the head.
Yeah, you'll do that anyway.
But probably. But I go back to early on, and there was a lot of almost like bells and whistles and smoke. And look at our social media. Look at us doing a Full House parody. Look at us doing the Office parody. Look at us playing hide and seek in the facility. And it feels like what I've seen is you're coming off a season where now the attention is on you. I said this going back to the bowl game. Can you imagine if they'd have won the bowl game and you win 10 games? I know people go, oh, bowl games are irrelevant. There are times bowl games are relevant. Still,
I think when you go to a New Year's Day bowl game is still a relevant opportunity.
It's if Lenore Sellers had a monster game there and they went 2 in the game, good grief. I mean, they lost the game, but it feels like Shane Beamer has brought the program in close.
Right.
We don't need the outside noise.
Right.
We don't need to do all the little kind of fun, crazy stuff. And I feel like that's what I've seen more from this program going into year 5 of Shane Beamer.
Well, okay. You bring up a great point. For one thing, they're still going to do the parodies. They're still going to play hide and seek. They're still doing those things.
Well, yeah.
But I remember asking Shane, and heck, it might have been here. I can't fully remember, but I remember the answer to the question more than anything of what did you need to do? What did you need to see? It was after the first season, actually, now that I think about it. But he said, it's amazing what a little confidence and a little joy can do for these young men. And I don't know that it was an outright, say, dig at what had been happening in the previous coaching administration. But at the same time, I think it's a pretty obvious nod to what wasn't there, if you follow my meaning.
No, that's fair.
And these are still, look, we have to really walk the fine line sometimes. We say, these are kids. Well, they are adults by the letter of the law.
Well-paid adults,
but they're young adults, and they're college students. And college students do like to have fun. And fun doesn't mean that you're out doing keg stands until 3 a.m. with your buddies.
Right.
But there is that part of life where you're growing up, but still enjoying what your youthful days offered you. And I don't know that there was a whole lot of that before Shane got here. And all he's attempted to do, I think, is remind, first and foremost, his team and those who follow his team that that's where they are. That's who they are. And I think it's working. Look, the 5-7 year didn't make anybody happy, but you understood perhaps where you were, to your point, in the maturation of the program. There's a difference in a year-to-year team and what you're still trying to do as a program. And then there's a Venn diagram where those things cross over. And I personally believe that Coach Beamer and his staff have done a fantastic job of figuring those two things out. But to just have guys that are just all the time, what's the point of that?
Well, I think it's the public persona, not the in the locker room stuff, like you said. Another thing that I caught last week, they were replaying, and I'd seen it before, but was the little 30-minute documentary instead of re-showing the spring game, inside game, whatever they called it. And it shows grit night, and Luke Day's out there yelling and screaming, and they're running through mud and doing everything. And you see, but I feel like there's less of that, and I think that's a good thing. I think that's a good. It's a business-like approach publicly, maybe a more fun approach internally.
Uh-huh. And I think you have to blend those things. Again, is it a job? Yes. Is it a job now more than ever? Yes. But like we said, are they still 18 to 22-year-olds?
24-year-olds.
And a few of those outliers now? Yes. Hey, look, I'm in my 50s, and I still like to have fun from time to time, right? It's okay. It's okay to want to have fun while knowing all the while what you're there for. Go ahead, Tyler.
I was going to say, at some point, your program develops its own identity. And right when you're in your first couple of years and you have the ups and downs that, the Beamer teams had, people don't really know what you are. So, yeah, you may want to lean towards the bells and whistles of grabbing attention. But when you start winning more, when you have high-profile players like a Sellers, like a Dylan Stewart, you get an identity to be a team that has won and has the capability of doing special things where I feel like you don't see as much of that stuff out there anymore. Not to say, like Jay said, that they're going to stop doing it, because it is okay to have fun, especially with, guys in that age range that are playing college football. But I don't feel like there's like this need to make yourself be seen with those things as maybe there was a couple of years ago.
I agree. And I think that again is to the point y'all are making. That's the maturation of the program. And look, you're here to win football games, and that's what they're beginning to do. And now you want to keep doing that. But again, confidence and joy. And if that's what was missing, and that's why there was a coaching change, and it is, in addition to not winning.
Yeah.
Then instilling that initially, but keeping that. And in terms of things like confidence, one of the things that I have often said about the previous coaching staff is in so many games, there was a feeling of playing not to lose.
I think it was tightness. I know what you're saying. It goes back to not having fun and enjoyment. And it's crazy that you went from Steve Spurrier, again, watching the documentary or whatever.
Who played to win.
Spurrier's out there, the old famous Sean Elliott story about they're going to play Florida for the Eastern Division Championship in 2010 down in Gainesville. Elliott is Elliott. Sean Elliott. He's intense. He's extremely intense, red faced. And he looks out his way. He's been pacing, and he's worried about the game. He's thinking about the offensive line and how we're going to. And he looks out his window, and there's shirtless Steve Spurrier tanning by the pool before the game. Right. And I think that's Shane has found a good middle ground in not being Will Muschamp, who I've heard from multiple people. If it was a night game, you couldn't let him be around his team during the day because he was so intense and fired up.
Yeah. And again, look, to each their own. And Will has his attributes that made him a head coach at Florida and at South Carolina. There's also reasons that it didn't work, and they may intertwine from time to time. And I don't know what the long-term future is for Shane Beamer, but I see the trajectory at this point in time. I see the on-field trajectory. I see the recruiting trajectory, and it all seems to be headed in the right direction. So you're doing the right things. But, again, I'll come back to it. Confidence and joy, those things were lacking. But to the point I was going to make too, Bill, about playing not to lose, we've seen Shane far more often, and sometimes it's bit him in the butt, and he'll admit it, but he'll go for those big plays. He'll go for those fourth down plays. He's instilling confidence. Boys, I believe in you.
Right.
Maybe some of you were here when someone didn't and would just as soon kick a field goal. God bless you, Parker White. Is one of the reasons Parker White's the all-time leading scorer because he was always asked to kick? That's not on Parker. Parker would rather be kicking PATs, right? But
2019 Texas A&M game.
Yeah, it's 30-3. Let's go for a field goal. That's what I'm talking about, though. And that's some of the difference in the philosophy and what's being instilled, confidence and joy.
803-404-6100. We'll build on that because.
And I'm not dogging Parker White. I don't want anybody to think that's not a shot at Parker White. He made his field goals.
dogging kickers as a whole, from Ryan Suckups to
No.
Daniel to Josh
Listen,
Browns
they
to
they
Daniel
provide you
Weavers.
what you need, but at the same time, again, would Parker rather have been kicking PATs? Hell yeah.
We'll get into that a little bit when we come back, because it's year 5. I don't know if this is an aging thing for me or what, but it's year 5
No,
of
you're
Shane Beamer. Did we know we were going to get here? And also, is anybody aware that Shane Beamer is doing something going into year 5 that I don't think any other coach has ever been in a position? We'll talk about that. You're listening to Jay Phillips and Bill Gunner. We're live from Cobblestone Farms. Tyler Head back in studio. It is the halftime show. 1:16 here on a Monday afternoon. It's hot, it's humid, it's balmy. Jay Phillips over sweating through. Boy, whoever's got to follow up with that headset.
Listen, Jay sweats indoors here in the climate-controlled studios. I can't imagine what being outside must be like for him right now.
It's been worse. We're in the shade, and there are 2 Cyclone fans blowing right here toward us. Gunner's getting the better of it. I don't know how that worked out.
I'm on the good side of that. I'm good. Listen, I'm
okay. You know what, Tyler? I'm going inside for about 3 minutes at a time during commercial breaks.
Jay, is that how you got the Dan's Fan City deal? Because you just need a fan on you constantly?
Yes. Jeff Haley felt bad for me all those years ago and decided to say that we needed to pair Jay up with John, the local owner at Dan's. And yes, so that's how that works.
Jay's having his personal Jordan Game 6 over here. He's getting inside in between breaks.
That's right.
So.
That's right.
8:03.
Lots of water. I'm good.
Yeah, he's making it. Again, I'd rather sit right here and do it today like this or over the weekend than I would have sat in the studio.
Well, we know you're lying because you already admitted to watching Canadian football this weekend.
I just meant in terms of where would you rather have me here, out here, doing the show now, against doing the studio doing the show in studio like in February, March when I got put on restriction for touching the thermostat because let Gunner go on a radio show where he could cost us thousands of dollars in fines, but don't let him touch the thermostat. Heaven forbid he be comfortable while doing that show. So
again, they make pullovers.
Oh,
Get you a little blanket, little Afghan to wrap around you.
People constantly. You can always go to our live stream. Don't forget we're on today. Go to the Game TV Radio on YouTube. You can see us, and I look great. Jay does not. I look good. Tyler, you weren't around for this. Jay and I have been around South Carolina football for the better part of. I'm 43. Jay's 45 in that ballpark. But we've
reversed the numerals, and you got it right.
We've seen a lot of Carolina football. Again, I was watching the documentary the other day, the SEC story or the SEC. The documentary, and it was replaying Eric Kimry and the fade. You mentioned Fred Smoot. It was a great catch by James Atkinson over Fred Smoot at that point to set up really the play by Petty and then the injury to Petty and then the play by Kimry. But guys, number one, let's start with this. Jay, go back 5 years ago. Shane Beamer's hired. There's a lot of people in Columbia. They're like, yes, we got this guy's energetic, but what has he done? Yeah. There's a lot of people nationally that are like, okay, you just hired the tight ends coach from Oklahoma. They didn't understand the relationship between Shane Beamer and the University of South Carolina. And South Carolina at that point, if we remember, is 2-8.
Yeah.
2-8, coming off 2-8 season, a 4-8 season previously. And here we are in year 5.
3-8 plus an exhibition win over Charleston Southern.
That's actually a great point. I've never thought I would say it that way. But anyway, here we are in year 5. And to me, the excitement for this year rivals that, unfortunately, I don't want to bring it up, but of going into 2014 when South Carolina was a top 10 team and Texas A&M marched in here. And, well, for those of you who haven't been able to forget that night, I'm sorry to you. But it's been a decade plus since I feel like we've been in this position.
Yeah. I think you kind of hit it there quickly and pivoted, but to the point you made, the thing that always has struck me about Shane Beamer's fit in Columbia is the want to. He wanted this job for a long time. He and Emily really fell in love with Columbia, with the school. 2 of their 3 children were born in Columbia. It means a lot to them. I think he sees the potential that this program has. He saw it begin to rise before he went back to coach in Blacksburg. Certainly continued to watch it. He's admitted that, hey, I would tape all the coaches' shows. I would, and I mean, heck, Shane, during some swing throughs, Shane would call into the show, and he always stayed connected. And timing is everything in these searches. And there's probably, when I say it this way, you'll know what I mean. Look, maybe you'd prefer that Shane not be hired, not because Shane got hired, but it's because there was such a need, a failure, if you will, at some point in time. And that had to happen. So either one. Yeah. We just talked about you a second ago. Sean Elliott is here, and he knows he was here then.
Well,
back then, and Sean has the same thing. The want to is we welcome South Carolina's
And
tight ends coach. What are you, run game coordinator, like head
Employed.
rah guy?
Employed.
I've seen him at a Darius concert. He is happy. That's what he is. He is the happy coach. He was. I could see. Well, I think it was this year.
Have you ever been to a Darius concert and not been happy?
Well, what I was going to ask you is, you look like a guy. I think was it this year that we did the thing at the township.
Yeah.
And you came up, and you look like a guy who 9-3, 9-4 season, not a head coach, doesn't have to deal with all the things of it. Just thoroughly. I watched you on stage that night. I was in there with Lauren, and we're watching, and I'm like, this guy is just great season in a place he loves. Doesn't have to deal with all the things that I know we won't talk about on air that you had to deal with at Georgia State. That's just being a head coach.
Yeah.
It for you, I know life couldn't be better right now.
It was a good night.
It was
a good night, and it came just perfect right after the season.
Yeah.
And shoot, why not go and have some fun?
But I think I would ask you that everything that you had hoped for this move was going to be has indeed been here in the last year.
Man, it's just it's like if you write a movie script, I mean, it just really is. To come back and certainly join my family back here in Columbia on a full-time basis.
Yeah.
I was part-time going back and forth, but joining them on a full-time basis, coming back here, working with South Carolina Gamecocks and Coach Beamer and staff, and it turned out having a phenomenal year, which could have been a better year. Of course, we all know that, but what a year, what a season we have, and to coach the tight ends, and Josh Simon played really well for us last year, and now my daughter's fixing to enroll at South Carolina on August 8th. Move her in if I can sneak out of practice for maybe 30 minutes and move in a pillow sham or something.
That's what you should do. Is just say, hey, sorry, I don't know which one's worse, honestly, being out in the heat when you're coaching or having to do, because I've done the August dorm move-ins, man.
I know what's worse. It's going to be moving in.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. You're not coaching. You're being you're second in command, right?
Probably
third
or fourth.
Third.
Yeah.
Oh, listen, all I did was move stuff. I'm not.
Yeah.
There's no. Hey, that would look good. Like, don't even. I'll just give you that advice. Don't offer any tips. Just drop stuff off. Keep going. But last year, some of the guys at work were ragging on me. They were like, "Oh yeah, you get a couple of days off." I was like, I would much rather be at work.
Well, I've got my son, and hopefully I'm going to incorporate a few of his friends and employ those on an hourly basis and get it moved in.
That will actually go a long way. And you know what? Some of the RAs and stuff will help you out a little bit too. So that
I don't know about that.
We'll see. We'll see. You just talk about having a good year and you want a little bit more. You can mirror a lot of that when you were here with Coach Spurrier, and y'all did win the SEC East. You won 9 games that year, but you didn't win the bowl game. You had to go up against Cam twice. My God, and that's nobody wishes that upon you. But then, how much of that dare I say unfulfillment is motivation during an off season? How do you translate that into the mindset?
Well, teams are so different year in and year out. I don't know. I mean, for me, myself, motivation is winning every game. That's just who we are as a coach. From an overall team standpoint, certainly you want to do as well as you can. I mean, and I think we all understood that we didn't put our best foot forward in that bowl game. And it was just that was a really unfulfilling moment for me as a coach. And I think for all of our returning players and the rest of our coaching staff, we just, we didn't perform at the level we feel like we should have. And that was an opportunity lost. And when I say an opportunity lost, I kept telling our players, I was like, 10 wins, man, the 10-win plateau, that sets you apart from everybody in Gamecock history. And we just fell a little bit short. So yeah, it does throw a little spark in it.
Looking at your position in particular, I've always thought you get these guys transferred in, some hit right away, some it takes about a year. Brady Hunt was a guy that I know y'all were very excited about last year. It took a year. How has his summer been? How do you see? Because everybody's talking about Jordan Dingle. Michael Smith is the kind of the freak guy. You got the guy Mike Tyler from right here in Columbia, but Brady Hunt was a guy that maybe you expected a little bit more from last year and had a huge catch. I think Missouri.
That was a big time catch.
I think got hurt on that play if I remember.
He got hurt on the Simon touchdown.
Okay.
He broke his leg. So, I mean, that's just crazy. But Brady has had a phenomenal offseason. I mean, far and away above. He's more athletic. He's a little nimble now, and he's moving around really, really well. Probably one of the most intelligent guys we have on our football team, if not the most intelligent guy we have on our football team. Smart, dependable, tough. I expect him to have a phenomenal season. I expect him to step up. And we have so many of those guys in that room, and there's not a lot of tight ends, but we have a lot of tight ends that can do a lot of great things for us, I think. You mentioned Dingle, Mike Smith, Hunt. I mean, we just have the guys that can go out there and do it. So, we're going to have to do a nice job in balancing, what particular areas they're going to perform well in and try to place those guys in the right spot. But I think Brady's going to have a hell of a year.
For guys that are around our age, we've seen the evolution of the tight end spot. But for the tight ends you're coaching now, this is normal for them to be an integral part of a football offense. What's that been like for you as you coach them, where they're not thinking, are they going to throw to me? It's how often are you going to throw to me?
Right. That's fantastic. It just keeps them in the ball game. Back in the day and age of when I played, the tight end was come on in here and we're going to block some power and throw you naked, and that's about it.
Right.
But now they're so incorporated in the RPO schemes, so many different run tags they can get the home run ball off of. So it's great. It's a great position, I think, and people may laugh, but for our position, that tight end, you got to be one of the smartest guys on the field. I mean, you got to know everything. You got to know protections, your pass routes, your run game. Everything about playing that position has changed dramatically. I call them they're the adjuster of the offense. They make it right, and that's an important piece.
You look at the offense as a whole and all the pieces that are lost. Sometimes I think we gloss over Josh Simon. As you look at all the positions, not just your position, biggest key for the first 2 or 3 weeks of August camp to getting things back to where they need to be?
I don't know. We've been doing this, ever since that last ball game.
Okay.
They've been pretty consistent over the off season. I think we have a talented room. Managing that room is probably going to be the key thing during the course of camp that we have to maneuver. We've got strength, we've got size, we've got athleticism. They got great ball skills. They can run block, and we just got to find the right niche for each and every one of them right there. And it may be like Josh a year ago. I felt like Josh gave us the best option almost in every scenario. So he played an abundance of snaps last year. Maybe Brady in that position, and maybe a Mike Smith. It could be a combination of the two where we can rotate them quite a bit. But we have to figure out that combination that we're going to work with and then stick with it and make them the very best they can be.
I know we'll talk to you a lot about football. So before we get you out of here and let you go have some lunch, what's the Elliott family been up to this summer? Where'd you go? What'd you do?
Oh, wow. Let's see. Not a bunch of trips. Went to Pawleys Island for the 4th and just been relaxing a little bit at home. Took my daughter one last trip to New York City last week for a few days, and she enjoyed that. But we haven't
see a show or just do some?
Yeah, we saw Hamilton.
All right, yeah,
it was good.
I took mine at spring break.
Did you really?
All right, yeah.
Yeah, I was sitting there having a little beat last night to it. Just thinking about what we had seen. It's just a different experience. But really, I just relaxed, and did nothing more. Usually, we take a big trip south to, the Caribbean or somewhere like that, and we just didn't do it this year. So, and Alex always recruiting somewhere along the way. Yeah, as long as you got a phone, you're recruiting.
That's right.
That's
right.
I can't imagine. I know back in the day when you were assistant, I had to do all the stuff for the Big Spur, travel around, and that was light work. Now it's 20 times more difficult, I would imagine.
The holidays in recruiting is brutal.
Yeah.
The holidays.
We need to change that for y'all.
Because I think because we're all on these text threads and with all these recruits and their parents and their brothers, their sisters, their coaches, and man, when that July 4th holiday went off, I think I had honestly 1,400 text messages on my phone, and I wear a little watch, the Apple Watch. That thing's just going bing, 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 bing. It just, I said, I got to get another phone. I got to get another 2 phones or something like that.
Well, it all really gets going. I know it's going 365 days a year, but it really gets going today. Meet with the media, practice on Friday, and you're into the water.
Yeah. I said goodbye last night. Waved.
Well, good luck.
Walked out.
Good luck with the door moving. I got one on Friday.
Oh yeah.
And then you got one next week. So, yeah.
I just hope it's not 100 degrees.
Good luck with that.
And next time, can y'all pick a better spot than out here?
Well, we thought about being inside. We didn't know where we could be. So at least we're in the shade. You can't feel the fans. I hate to say that to you. We have 2 fans. I should have moved that on you.
Listen, we just flew to Greenville to go to that high school coaching convention. And the plane had no air on it.
Oh,
so you just walked into the hot box.
Oh, God.
And sat there. Luckily, it was a 20-minute flight.
Oh,
So,
I
yeah.
don't think I could have done it, man.
Oh, it was tough.
I could
It
have
was
done
tough.
He's Sean Elliott.
Yeah.
Appreciate you.
Appreciate you
Yeah,
guys.
good stuff.
All right,
Thank you.
Get us out of here.
We'll come back. We will. Who knows who else will show up? We are live from Cobblestone Park. It is Birdies with Beamer. You're listening to the halftime show. 1:36 on a Monday afternoon where the buffet has officially opened in front of us. Surprise, no surprise. Terry Ford, the very first person through the buffet. I mean, he was out of the buffet before the second person was able to even start fixing their plate, as it happens right here in front of us. So good for him. Good for him. And for us, good for us. Sean Elliott joining us there, and we patiently await. We'll be joined by Shane Beamer here in the next 20 minutes, so we may cut to or hop in and out of a break. But where I was going with this, Tyler and Jay, no coach, and Jay, you can think back a little bit older than me. No coach has entered year 5.
How many times are you going to remind me of that today, by the way?
I ain't worried about you. I'm trying to make sure everybody else knows, just in case.
I think they did.
Just in case they see these pictures that pop up on the website. No coach, in my opinion, has entered year 5, and this includes Steve Spurrier. Okay, people tend to forget Steve Spurrier wasn't going to be fired, but year 4 of Steve Spurrier wasn't exactly a really good time. Okay, do you remember?
08. It's a terrible. I mean, look, 07 finished horribly. Excuse me. 08 finished poorly.
That's an understatement almost. I mean, 08, the year 4 under Spurrier was almost when people were like, he can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
Remember, they had gone up to Clemson. They get their doors blown off.
There's I think as only like 2 or 3 point underdogs too.
Yeah, it was supposed to be a close game. They get their door. Dabo gets the job. They still get the Outback Bowl, year 4 of Spurrier. They still get the Outback Bowl. They go down there. They get their doors blown off down there. Shane Beamer enters year 5 in as good a shape with the program as healthy as I've ever seen it in year 5, which is, look, year 5 is a milestone year.
Yeah, I'm trying to think back. Let's see. What was Coach Morrison's year 5? 87? They were coming off 3-6-2.
I mean, look,
and we've joked about that before.
Go to this point. Jim Carlin in 78 is 5-5-1.
Yeah.
You mentioned Joe Morrison. Joe Morrison, year 4 is 3-6-2.
3-6-2. Ties at Virginia Tech and Clemson. And that weird finish to the Georgia game. I still remember that. Yeah, no, you're right.
I mean, year 5 is we're like, wow, you get for a football coach, it's kind of like year 5 is you're like, wow, you've done something. You've gotten somewhere in year 5, and Shane Beamer will enter year 5. Team is projected to be a top 15 team.
Yep.
Dark horse playoff team.
Pick top 5 in the conference.
Pick top 5 in the which
Heisman candidate.
I mean, it's
got one of the best edge rushers in America.
Program is as healthy as it's been.
Recruiting
year 5.
Class is in the top 20 as we speak. Again,
they're close. They're close.
Yeah, well, that changes. I mean, the other day they were like 14th, then they dropped to like 23rd, then they got up to 17.
I think I looked this morning. I think they're 18th right now. I think that's the last. But
it's going to be. It's so fluid, and they only got 14 kids in it right now. But nevertheless, yes, Bill. To the overall point, it is in a year 5 situation the best shape that it's been in. I can't say ever, but certainly if you want to continue to make me feel old, then in my lifetime.
I mean, Lou Holtz, 5-7.
Right.
That was a disaster of a final season, if people remember that, or that was they go up there and lose in again.
They got their 6th win. It was disaster, but yeah.
No. 2002, year 4, they're 5-7.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
because that 02, that was the Georgia game.
That's the Georgia game.
That was both
they moved Corey Jenkins to linebacker, safety against Clemson up there.
All right.
Corey Jenkins has got Charlie White. Boy, talk about it. He's got him dead to rights on a blitz off the edge and misses him. And that segment went south quick.
Yeah,
but nonetheless, and that's kind of as we sit here and we wait on Shane Beamer. We talk to Sean Elliott. We talk about the enjoyment that he's having, because you talked about the players,
right?
Yeah, players want to have fun. They
right,
just want to have fun.
Coaches do too.
This is right now a fun program.
Well, like Sean said, winning is fun, and they're not satisfied, and I think that's a real line to draw, and that's why I asked Sean about that 2010 team, and Shane was part of that one too. But they did things that hadn't been done. I can't say that last year South Carolina did things that hadn't been done in a while, perhaps, but at the same time, a sense of I don't know if emptiness is the right way to put it, because again, you go from but like Sean said, man, the difference in that 9 and 10 win season is really, really big. And Carolina felt that in 2010, to your point about, like 09, it got rolling again a little bit. You brought Gilmore in, you brought Alshon in, and it was like, okay, now we got some players. All right, now it's starting to. It's
Oh,
starting to happen.
09, you beat Clemson up. You beat Clemson
Yeah, in
here, and
Columbia.
then that because remember again, they're 5-6. They're 5-6, and it looks like Spurs about to have another. And then they beat you, thump Clemson here, and you go to excuse me, they were 5-6.
Yeah.
And
That got
or
them
no,
that Birmingham game.
No, they were 6. They had 6. That was the win number 7 because then they get to. But anyway, but you're right. But then the next year,
Then it be okay. Here we go, and then again we know what happened 11, 12, 13. So are you there? I don't know. I mean, ask me again in a couple of months. But
Well-
in terms of what you have accomplished, what you know you can accomplish, what people expect you to accomplish, that's the story this year. I was telling you, we texted this morning. I was telling you that's the story. The story is not can you handle the expectations, but understanding them, absorbing them, playing within that framework, because things have changed, and we know how the sporting public goes, both your fan base and national media, other fans. They'll get on you quick, man.
803-404-6100. Looks like some coaches are starting to wander in. Again, Terry Ford has successfully made it through the buffet as the first in line. Congratulations to everybody at 107.5 The Game. To our staff for, again, winning the buffet award. We're very proud of that.
To be fair, he's been here for a while, and he has to go back because
Sure.
he's doing the 3 to 6.
Excellent point.
So he's got to eat some lunch and get out of here.
So we'll hit a break. We'll come back. We'll patiently wait. Coach Beamer, again, we're going to carry it. He will address the local media coming up, and he will join us. We will hit a break, come back, patiently wait on him, and get you set for the 2 o'clock hour. You're listening to the Halftime Show.
my text messages on my phone, you probably would understand. I'm not too big time for you.
Sean mentioned having like 1,400 when the dead period.
Yeah, it was awful. And I was in Cashers. I was up in the mountains with no service, and all of a sudden when I got service, it was just bing, 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 and it was over 1,000.
Well, he's like me. He said
Yeah.
the Apple Watch.
Yep, I did not.
That's not good at that point.
1:48 here on a Monday afternoon, live from Birdies with Beamer. Jay Phillips, Bill Gunner back in the studio. Tyler Head, as we have carried you through. Jay has not sweat to death just yet.
I'm working on it.
This may be his last segment, though, because joining us now, head football coach, year 5. I don't know if you've, I don't know what your schedule's been. If you've been listening to us coming in, but year 5, man, it doesn't. By the way, you hadn't aged at all. I see football coaches nowadays. They look like that. You don't look like you. You look comfortable. You look happy. You look thinner. Your hair looks great. Good to have you on, head coach Shane Beamer.
Yeah, I appreciate you saying that. I don't know if I feel the same way. I'm grayer and older. I was listening to you on the way in. Y'all were talking soccer, though.
That part, yeah.
Only for a second.
I missed the football part, but
Good.
great to be out here.
You missed him talking about watching the Canadian League.
Canadian Football League. Canadian
Do
Football
you know
League.
what a rouge is?
A rouge?
Yeah,
No.
it's something in the Canadian Football League.
I do
I
not.
think you get a point for doing something.
Nope. I heard y'all's Tim Tebow discussion, and I
Yeah.
heard your soccer discussion.
Okay.
And,
Yeah, I got into
I didn't
that.
get any Gamecock football talk.
Well,
No,
I'm here to talk
we just did a
Gamecock
whole
football.
hour on your team. So
Well, hope it was
tell you
good.
what, go back on the YouTube page and watch it.
I will.
Saturday, I came back from vacation, and as I laid in bed, I got into the Saturdays Down South, which
Yeah.
is just honestly, you go back to the 1940s, it's just a phenomenal documentary on the SEC and the growth, and just seeing stuff like Paul Bryant and Pat Dye, and just phenomenal. And unfortunately, because South Carolina didn't join until 92, there's a small piece in there. But
Yeah.
you were a part of that piece in 2010 and everything that took place.
Yeah, that is a great documentary. In fact, we were at the beach. We left the beach on Saturday, and we were driving back to Columbia. And I was in the car with my son, and we called my parents to check in on them, and they were watching the same thing. And then my son said, "What are y'all going to do today?" And they said, "Well, this is on all day, so we're just going to sit here all day and watch this." So they were watching it. But you're right. Every time I see it on, I watch it, and I'm always grateful for the position that I have to be a head football coach in the Southeastern Conference. But then when you're able to see things like that, and you just realize how special this league is, and it just continues to emphasize that to me over and over.
One of the things we were talking about that you didn't get to hear is something that will always stick with me back after your first season, when you mentioned it's great what a little confidence and a little joy can do for a football program. You've changed a lot of things here, but I have to imagine those are still core tenets. And I'm curious now that you've built this the way you're wanting to. It's obviously always going to be under construction, but how much does confidence and joy continue to play into your day-to-day?
A huge part. It's a tough job, as you guys know. There's a lot that comes at you, the chair that I sit in, but I'm never going to not enjoy it. And I'm a little late getting out here because we were in Greenville this morning for the state high school coaches clinic. And I appreciate a couple of high school coaches that came up to me and basically said that keep doing it the way you're doing it, that we appreciate it. It resonates. It's real. And I realize how blessed I am, but certainly I use this, and I use it all the time. And I said it at SEC Media Day, like, if you can't have fun at work, you've got a bad job.
Right.
And I mean that. And
right.
I really enjoy, there may be some days that are better than others, don't get me wrong, but I have joy every day when I get out of bed and get to walk into the building because of the position that I hold here, the state that I live in, the community that I live in. There's a lot of joy because of that. And then there's confidence, certainly because of the people that I'm around each and every day, the players, coaches, staff in our program.
Real quick, serious question. Jeff Collins comes on this weekend. I guess you bring him on this weekend. SEC background with Florida, Mississippi State, head coaching background. Just your quick thoughts on bringing him, what he can do for your defensive staff.
Yeah, excited about it. First public interview or conversation.
Yeah, hey, this 12-3 job brings a whole new level.
Here's the exclusive as well. But no, I'm excited about that. I think he's a fantastic coach. He's a fantastic recruiter. You look at his background, not just coaching, but the time he spent in Tuscaloosa, like basically running personnel for Nick Saban from a recruiting standpoint. But it's an easy hire because of the familiarity that he has with so many people on our staff. He and I were graduate assistants together at Georgia Tech back in the year 2000. He and Clayton White worked together at Western Carolina. He and Torian Gray worked together at Florida. He and Trey Money, who works with our linebackers, worked together at Georgia Tech. He and Derek Moore worked together at Georgia Tech. He and George Wynn, our director of football operations, worked together at Florida. So he knows so many people on our staff right now, and he'll make it's another set of eyes in there with great ideas. I'm not. You guys know me. I'm not big on just adding people to add people. I don't want to have the biggest staff in the country, but when you can, add a person that has his background and a track record, it's certainly a home run hire for us.
And you've when you can, obviously, having those former head coaches, and you've got Sean now, you got Jeff, obviously what Pete meant to you.
Yeah.
Whom I forget. Mike Shula's been a head coach.
Yeah,
Mike Furry's been a head coach.
Yeah.
That's as strong in terms of men that have hit that level that you have around you.
Yeah, no question. It's the chair, that chair, until you've actually sat in it, it's lonely. And to have people that have sat in that chair and have been in that role that understand it, but also that that I can bounce ideas off of, and hey, what do you think about this? And did you ever run into this problem and things like that as well? Because I've been in coaching a long time, but this is only year 5 as a head coach. So, I mean, I'm still learning about a lot of things, and to be able to have other people that have been in that role and are willing to say, hey, have you thought about this? Or I think it's sometimes easier for those guys to maybe have tough conversations with you and maybe tell you what you don't want to hear, than maybe it is a younger coach that doesn't have their experience.
Do you have any virtual Pete Limbos for movie quotes? Obscure rock and roll references.
No, it's not. But it's
still a modern building. So
no, it is. It's still. I'm looking at my phone because usually it's at least once a week that I still get a Pete Limbo text, either World War II history, this day in Revolutionary War history, 80s movies, 80s and 90s singers. I got a Debbie Gibson post last week because he knows that was like my very first concert that I ever went to as a little kid was Debbie Gibson with my mom, I think, in Virginia. So I can always count on him for anything.
Good to see you.
Yep,
appreciate you.
Y'all too. Appreciate you.
Shane's getting ready to address the room, so we'll have that live for you in a bit. We'll talk to you soon.
Yep. Thank
That's
you,
Shane
guys.
Beaver. All right. Final hour coming up.
That ain't Clayton. Okay.
We can get some of these guys afterwards too. What's up, Coach?
2:00 on a Monday afternoon. Jay Phillips, Bill Gunner here, live from Cobblestone Park, I believe, I think I've been calling it Cobblestone Farms, which is actually the name of my neighborhood that I lived in about 10 years ago. But Cobblestone Park out here. Birdies.
We can count on you to screw it up, man. You're
Yeah, so far I've named the right show we've been on. Coach Clayton White joining us here. Like a nice slim. You look like a guy who has had a good summer, like a very you look like a guy who just produced 5 draft picks, not worried at all about the future, just very happy. How you doing, big guy?
I'm doing great, man. Great. Obviously a good summer. Excited to be out here today, hang out with you guys. Obviously it's a good time to get ready to ramp up the season.
Yeah, obviously for you, a fun postseason because you had a lot of great accomplishments, but I'm sure also a postseason where you woke up at night and went, oh, there's no Nick even more. Oh, Demetrius Knights with the Bengals now. Oh, no Bam Martin Scott, no Debo Williams. How have you tried to enjoy a little bit of your accomplishment, but also look ahead to now what you've got to do this year?
Well, the most important thing is just to be happy for those guys in the moment. Obviously, last year we knew what we had coming back, and we wanted to make sure our guys were equipped with everything they needed to be successful, and they poured it all in. They really did. So proud of those guys. But we knew this day was coming. There will be no Nick Eman worries, etc. But you probably won't find another Nick for another 20. so we, obviously Nick, Coach Gray did a great job of getting him 3 and out. And but I think most importantly, we knew this day was coming, so we've kind of prepared, and we hit the portal. We got some recruits in, and I think Coach Beamer knew. So we just planned, and we feel great right now about the depth.
When you sorry, I'm going to finish the thought. I'm sorry.
It's all good.
Well, I was going to say with the depth, Bill and I were talking earlier. I mean, look, all football coaches love competition, and you've got, especially at your spot, I know you're the DC, but in terms of linebackers, you got a lot of bodies. You don't necessarily have tons of experience,
yes.
And you open with a big time opponent that you need to get out there and be ready for it. What does that do for competition? What does that do? How do you ramp it up? How do they ramp it up? How do you blend those things when you've got a bunch of guys that might be vying? I mean, I don't know how you have a pecking order right now.
Yeah, so just being in the SEC itself, it's all about competition, and our guys, you don't really have to ramp them up. They see it. They know that there's open spots there, and they're going to attack. They have attacked this offseason just as strong as aggressive they've ever had. So I'm excited. There is competition at multiple spots, but it does create depth. Our guys are super excited to go out and compete. Like, if they haven't done the work by now, they're not getting it done. So it's almost time to go. So they've already put the work in. So we've seen it, and it's time to reap those benefits.
How do you, at South Carolina, you were a defense coordinator before you arrived here, but how do you see yourself having changed and adjusted from the first year you were here having to sit down with guys like us to now year 5? Because we were joking, 5 years is a while, and you've been here and you're comfortable, I believe, now.
Comfortable. You never want to get comfortable. You always want to keep grinding and getting better. But I agree with what you're saying. I know exactly what you're trying to say. Not trying to shame what you're saying, but year 5 is an accomplishment. We are very excited being here. Just coaching the same players and coaching the system. Year 5, like every year is different in college football in anything. So we're super excited just the fact that we're able to coach a new group. So it's like we had to start. I felt like a college basketball coach this year, like a Coach K, like a 5 and the one and done. Like we had 8 of them. Yeah. They all were gone, so we had to kind of reinvent ourselves as coaches. You had to start back from scratch in January. 2 days after the Illinois game, we kind of started all over again. We knew it was coming, but we ramped up the pace, and I think we're where we need to be.
Last year, as you began to see these guys grow, one of the things that we all noticed is the ability to develop. I mean, it's one thing when you have a Dylan Stewart, right? Or the offense has a Lenora Sellers or somebody special. Like, wow, that kid. But when you don't, or it's in them, but you guys find ways to bring it out. And I'm curious what that feels like for you to have that sense of fulfillment. You just mentioned you're never comfortable,
yep.
But there is accomplishment in taking some guys like Kyle, like Demetrius, and others. I could go down the list and saying, hey, you've got it in you, son. What does that feel like to them at the beginning and at the end of that journey?
It's pretty cool. You know what I'm saying? what I mean by that is like obviously these guys had obstacles in their life and in their playing career for them to go in the portal, but once you kind of see a couple things from a really good player, and then we all kind of meet in the middle and just obviously let those guys flourish. Like at Demetrius Knight, obviously 3 schools, Kyle Kennard came and became the player of the year in the conference. Like that's huge. That's a big jump. But I think more importantly, once you see that one thing, you have to kind of like really dive into it as a coach and really try to get more out of them and just show them the good and the bad on the tape. And like, look, man, like here's you doing it really good. Here's Bradley Chubb doing it really good. Here is Kurt Warner doing it really good. You look just like him, and just keep on building up their confidence. And at the end of the day, the final product.
That's the kind of one and done side of it. Talk about your guy, DQ Smith, because I'm a recruiting nerd. DQ was not highly thought of. As a matter of fact, I think he was going to be a gray shirt. All of a sudden, you're playing Georgia State. Hey, DQ, get in there. We got to make a play. Now he's a senior, and he really is that veteran guy, and a guy that you don't see a lot in college, who has been here 4 years and really played from day one through whatever it'll be this year.
DQ Smith, man, DeQuandre Smith. I can't say enough about the guy in regards of being like one of my favorite players of all time that I've ever coached. Like just from a makeup, how he carries himself, what he means. Once he gets competitive, his competitive spirit is very high. He was a high school quarterback, so was I. I went and played defense right away, but I played defense in high school as well. So it kind of reminds me a little bit of myself. He's better and more athletic than I am, but
you mean today? You don't mean
today.
yeah.
Today. But I actually went to college as a safety as well.
Okay.
I was a linebacker, so I was like 210, 205. But he also came here, plays DB, but he stayed at DB. But he's one of my favorite players of all time. Obviously, one of my favorite players here. He's a homegrown kid. Came to South Carolina on a gray shirt.
Yeah.
After about 5 practices, me and T-Gray said, these 2 dudes can play. And he's a man. He's a loyal person, so love him to death.
Can you take that point, because I think you just kind of hit on it without saying it, that want to. I mean, the local guy, I want somebody to believe in me and go show it. When do you sense that? I mean, football's football, but when do you sense that intangible that's in somebody? And again, try to pull it out of them.
Yep. Really, anybody can say that, right? Anybody can say that I want to do this, I want to do that. Once you see them put in the work, the effort, once you see DQ, just don't let this sound funny. You see him with his shirt off, you can say that guy's dedicated to something.
Right.
He's dedicated to something. So once me and T-Gray saw that, we was like, this dude is a man. Like he's focused, he's disciplined about something. So like, once we put it on the field, and he kind of like was a football junkie, kind of like a savant. He could play nickel, he could play safety, he's not fast enough to play corner, but he could if you told him to.
Yeah.
He just, once you see it on the field, like that's when you really put all your soul into it, and hopefully you can meet halfway.
We got to get you out of here. I know Shane's about to speak, and you got other obligations. Good summer though.
It was a great summer.
How's the
man.
golf? How did you get?
Yes, me and my son played some golf this summer. I played down a couple of spots. My goal this year was to play a couple of courses I haven't played. I played Tot Hill in North Carolina.
Okay.
Tot Hill Farms, a little unique course in North Carolina in Asheboro. I took a 3-hour drive one morning, met some of my best friends from Raleigh there, and played ball. And I played golf, and I played most of my golf here in Columbia, Fort Jackson. Not a ton of rounds. Play some rounds at the
You're
beach.
not Hugh Freeze. We know that. You
Look at that.
Hey,
I played about 6 or 7 rounds of golf this summer. I played at Forest Lake with some alumni people there. Great summer, man. Can't complain. It's time to go, though.
Time to go, and you get to do that on Friday. DQ will be a big part of that. Coach, we always appreciate you. Take time to stop by with us.
Nice seeing you. Nice seeing you,
Clint.
guys. Take care.
Appreciate it,
Take
man.
care. Good looking. Spelt the very look at this is a man who's had a great look at how slim that guy is. Now that is a guy. We come back. Shane Beamer. We'll meet with the media. We'll carry that right here for you. You're listening to Jay Phillips, Bill Gunner. It is the halftime show. 2:14 on your Monday. Bill Gunner, Jay Phillips, Tyler Head back in studio, myself and Jay out here at Birdies for Beamer, where within the next few minutes we'll be hearing from Coach Beamer, as we got a little bit out of him in the previous hour, mostly just some Jeff Collins stuff that we had kind of discussed.
Well, we learned that we were the first Jeff Collins question to Shane Beamer.
Darn Skippy. Another thing there, Tyler, that we get to do now with me being in the afternoon.
What, break news?
Exactly right. Not what I'm used to.
Instead of breaking things?
I'm just looking real quick because this popped up on my
Oh, no, you heard me.
kind of rundown. I was kind of listening, and I kind of wasn't. Deion Sanders, there was a press conference today. Some speculation. I don't know if you and Tyler seen this over the weekend. He was meeting with his medical team.
Right.
Deion Sanders announcing today in a press conference he's undergone surgery to remove his bladder after doctors discovered a tumor there. Since the surgery, there are no traces of cancer, and he will continue to coach this season. I will admit I thought this was just a preseason press conference, kind of like what we're about to do with Shane Beamer. But Deion Sanders today announcing, I guess officially, that he will coach this season for Colorado.
That he, that he can is wonderful news.
Yeah.
And I hope that he's physically up to it, because they are one of the more fascinating stories of this particular season, considering what they came off of last year and having Shador have his year, obviously the Heisman Trophy winner, and Travis Hunter. So I'm pulling for it, man. But it's pretty serious stuff.
Yeah, not good for him. And they actually, for those that want to, they'll open. We talked earlier about Georgia Tech. They'll open with Georgia Tech out there in Boulder. And their quarterback situation, for a recruiting nerd like me, really, really fascinating. Caden Salter comes after being really a big-time guy for Jamie Chadwell at Liberty and setting a lot of records. He transfers out there, and then they have the guy who a lot of people believe would have been the number one overall recruit in this particular recruiting class, quarterback Julian Lewis out of the Atlanta area. He is their guy. So they got two quarterbacks. So when they play Colorado, and Brent Key, and I like Brent Key a lot, and what he's done there at Georgia Tech, I got, I guess, a little special place in my heart, because as I was growing up, seeing Joe Hamilton and seeing Georgia Tech, that'll be a good one to really start the year on opening week, on week one for you and Tyler. But so that's
not a technical week 0 game, is it? I think that is an actual week.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
yes.
no, that's what I mean. Week 1 is. Hey, good folks of Ireland, we love you, but we don't love you. Here's Kansas State and Iowa State.
Yeah.
To appease your football needs.
The 0th week of the season.
0th week. Yeah. Colorado and Georgia Tech, I believe, are set for that Friday night. As I look here, that'll be an 8:00 game on ESPN out in Boulder. The stuff with Clayton White, and again, thank you to him for just joining us. Yeah, DQ Smith, an anomaly in college football.
Right.
A full 4-year starter.
Right.
Like I
wasn't supposed to be, but that's how it worked.
Yeah, and you hope the best for him on his senior year. But we've talked about the linebackers, we've talked about the defensive line a little bit. He's back there. He's been with Clayton White. Again, for me, Jay, it's kind of hard to say at times because of the nature of college football as a whole, whether you're a coach or whether you're a player. Guys who've been here for a full 5 years,
right?
Like year 5,
right? No, it's becoming more rare, especially for coordinators and I think, look, Clayton's got a great new deal. Shane made sure that got worked out well, and I think he and his family are very, very happy, as he mentioned, not comfortable, but happy and stable. There's a difference in comfort and contentment and stability, and I think stability is what they've got. But he's got guys to work with. But I'm glad, and we could probably go hours with him on development when you really get into the nuts and bolts. But you and I, we talk about it a bunch. We can talk about our age or anything like that, but we've been around this program, and this program depends upon player development. I don't want to say more than others, because Nick Saban at his peak was developing his players at Alabama, but South Carolina has to find more of the DQ Smiths, even more, dare I say, Bill, of the Lenoris Sellers or Connor Shaws. I mean, Lenoris was going to go to Syracuse. I don't even know where else Connor was.
Well,
really,
let me. There was some issues with Lenoris, not academically.
Point,
he got injured, but to your point, South Carolina's 3 years. Look, DJ Swearinger wasn't an All-American
Right.
recruit. Devin Taylor wasn't.
Right.
Byron Gerardo, I look at the guy, again, you think of guys, to your point, Jimmy Legrees, Victor Hampton, these were not elite level
Even
recruits.
Melvin Ingram. Nobody thought Melvin was going to be a first-round pick.
Exactly. And what you're saying is legitimate. And I don't know if there will be a day and time in my age where South Carolina is a perennial top 5, top 10 recruiting machine. So, and I look at the kid they just took from Greenwood, Tristan Lewis, 6'4", 205 pounds, plays quarterback there, plays safety. Greenwood is a well-known athlete producer. You're going to have to build that guy.
Yeah.
He's not going to, maybe he does come in day one. DQ Smith, Nicky Minwari again. The Nicky Minwari story, a little funny. South Carolina pulled some strings there. Hey, maybe don't send that guy to another camp somewhere else and let him be seen. Lenore Souls got injured. Maybe if he doesn't get injured in his high school career, other people know about him. But to your point, South Carolina will always have to be that program that has to find
Yeah, you're going to have to
3
develop.
or 4 players.
You're going to have to develop.
Yeah.
You mentioned Captain Munderland earlier. I think that's another great example. I mean, he's from Alabama. Bama and Auburn didn't even know who he was.
Yeah. Darren Stewart's another one out of that
Yeah,
state.
D. Stu, man. I mean, and he's one of my favorites all time. Of course, he played for the Broncos, so that helped. No, I mean, that's going to be part of it. And to your point, and I'm not being flippant when I say this as a lifer, for South Carolina to become that kind of recruiting machine, you're going to have to win a lot of conference championships.
Right.
That's going to take multiple championships and a real spotlight.
Well, and in this day and age, it takes multiple
and there are-
dollars as well.
and you might be able to accelerate the pace a little bit. But I think that's what Shane, Clayton, Dowell, and now Mike Shula, these guys, that they're developers, and we've seen that come to fruition in a lot of ways, and that's going to have to be that's still going to have to be the real foundation is a developmental program that goes against the blue chippers. You're going to get some 5 stars and big 4 stars. I don't doubt that. We were talking about blue chip ratio the other day. Terry found a good piece from CBS Sports and how close South Carolina is to being amongst the top 20 schools when it comes to the amount of blue chippers 4 and 5 stars on your roster. Not quite there yet. But there's a real belief that South Carolina and Mississippi are going to be there next season. And the word was no other programs are remotely close at this point other than those that are already there. And most of those speak for themselves.
Yeah, to that point, is we're monitoring and waiting.
Just
Shane
a few
Beamer
minutes
here.
away. Just a few minutes
Shane
away.
Beamer will speak. For those wondering, again, news over the weekend, South Carolina does recruit. They get a 3-star recruit. Now, these things change and alter as the season goes along and film is evaluated. Kosi Barnes, a 6'3", defensive back out of Grimsley, North Carolina. South Carolina will await, you talk about the blue chip there, 5-star offensive lineman Darius Gray out of the state of Virginia. Number 16 overall, according to one publication, consensus 5-star recruit, offensive lineman, 6'3", 285. Did announce over the weekend he will make his announcement on August 22nd. And, boy, I tell you what, you just see South Carolina, and really the big step for them, and it's something we'll discuss in the month of August, offensive line. But Darius Gray, another offensive lineman, and they've recruited really well.
Am I right in saying that Tennessee and LSU feel like the big
LSU
big
is LSU, it feels like, is, and then Tennessee's kind of lurking in the weeds back there. You want to watch them coming up behind you with a chair and knocking you down.
Right. Well, I imagine Tennessee and Carolina can sell the closest to home in the SEC thing.
Yeah, he's going to make an announcement early. I don't know what that means for, look, you talk about coaches going into the season on the hot seat. Billy Napier cooled his down. Do I think he's going to get fired? No. Brian Kelly, they expect a lot down there in Baton Rouge. And
they expect one thing.
And that season opener for him is going to be very intense as well.
And about 100 degrees, like here.
Yeah.
Yeah. And by the way, I had somebody very politely ask me, what do you think of this whole Death Valley thing? I was like, I don't. I'm not getting into all that. I couldn't care less.
Well, they're playing in Memorial Stadium, so I'm
let
not sure.
Let those 2 schools back. I couldn't care less. I was like, is this what is this the battle?
All right. Oh, wet blanket Phillips over here. Not even going to
I
get
don't
involved.
wanna-
Just, I got it.
I don't.
Yeah.
That's not. Let them.
They're playing at Memorial Stadium this year. When they go to Death Valley next year in 2026.
I do love. I will say this, and we've known Todd Ellis a long time. I do love the fact that Todd Ellis only says Memorial.
That's all I'll
Stadium.
say. That's
I just when he does it, I think it's.
I don't have the clout that Coach Ellis, Mr. Ellis does, but yeah, Memorial Stadium up there.
It's
I will say, in all fairness, I've been to games in both. Baton Rouge at night, Baton Rouge in a rainy 3:30 game when I went down there, and Steve Spurrier switched quarterbacks, Blake Mitchell and Chris Smiley. That place is All right, we're going to shoot. Shane Beamer is going live now. Here is Shane Beamer out here at Cobblestone Park.
Beamer and the assistant coaches at that time started at 3 o'clock over in the indoor facility, and then Friday morning we start practice. I'd be remiss. We got a lot of celebrities here, but obviously one special one with Sterling Sharp. Big week for him. As a special for today, we have the commemorative official yearbook of the Hall of Fame. We got 2 boxes over here. If anybody would like to take one with them, they're more than happy to. Obviously, there's a nice little pizza on Sterling in here, and like I said, a big weekend coming up for him. So congratulations, Sterling. So, and with that, I will turn over to head coach Shane Beamer, beginning his 5th season. This season already. Wow, goes fast. Shane Beamer.
Thank you, Steve. Time flies when you're having fun. Thanks to Steve and Michael Debates and everyone in our media relations department for putting this on. And thanks to Mike Burrows and his staff here at Cobblestone. Appreciate Casey and the guys from Backstreets for the gift cards and everyone that puts this event on. It's a team effort. Appreciate all of you. Appreciate all the former players that came out here today and played. It was great seeing so many of them and led by Hall of Famer and 4-time winner Sterling Sharp. Really fired up for you, and what an honor going into the NFL Hall of Fame. And I expect to, when I watch your induction speech, for you to reference this huge win here at the Birdies for Beamer this week as well, when everybody sees that also. Probably the highlight of the week if I'm guessing. But congrats to you and everything that you stand for and what you've done for South Carolina athletics and this football program, man. Fired up for you as well. You made the joke last year that you win this thing so many times that we're going to rename this tournament with your name, which you're getting closer and closer to doing that, I think, with the way you guys are playing as well. Really happy to have former Gamecock great Alex English out here today as well. Really cool to see him playing in it, and grateful for Coach Palmineri, our head baseball coach, being here as well. And thank you. I know it was hot out there today in the tournament, but appreciate y'all getting out here and grinding and being a part of that. We do this for you and the opportunity to fellowship with you and get y'all out here and have some fun. So appreciate y'all being a part of it. I apologize that some of our coaches and myself were a little bit late getting out here. We were up in Greenville this morning for our state high school coaches association clinic. Joe D. Camillus and Torian Gray spoke up there this morning. So myself and our 10 coaches were up there and literally came straight from Greenville here. So today was our day to speak, and that's been on the calendar for a while. So that's why we were a little bit late, but appreciate you understanding. Glad to get out here now with you as well. Steve mentioned it. We report Thursday. Finished up the summer last week with our workouts. Really happy about the way that's gone with Luke Day and his staff. We'll meet as a coaching staff tomorrow and kind of review the summer with him and where we are as a team going into camp. Gave our players the weekend off. They're off today, and then they'll report back tomorrow. Got a couple days of workouts in the weight room here on Tuesday and Wednesday before we officially report on Thursday, and then start practice on Friday morning. So really eager to get out there. Been long enough, and seems like forever ago that we last played a game. So can't wait to get back out there and get started with these guys. It's a fun group that's really been very purposeful and intentional about what they wanted to get done since they came back in January, and eager to crank things up. And then I guess it's 5 weeks from yesterday is when we'll be kicking this thing off in Atlanta. So really looking forward to that. And I had a couple phone calls today with some of the people there that are putting on that game, and would encourage all of our fans to continue to gobble up. I shouldn't have said that, Virginia Tech. Continue to buy all the remaining tickets that we have for that game. I know they're going fast, but we need to make sure that it is nothing but Garnet and Black and Mercedes-Benz that day. Obviously, Labor Day weekend, a lot going on, but no better way to spend it than a Sunday afternoon in Atlanta, watching us take on a really good Virginia Tech team as well. So we'll need all the Gamecock fans in Atlanta that day and encourage people. I know a lot of people are already going that I've talked to, but really hope to see that place packed with Garnet and Black. I know I'll visit with you on Thursday at Media Day. I saw most of you in Atlanta recently as well, so you got a lot of questions out, so I won't talk much longer. Turn it over to you guys for any questions that you guys have, and what you don't get today, you can get on Thursday when I see you again. And then I know you're eager to visit with all of our coaches and staff that are here as well, and excited to visit with you also when I'm getting done. So giving it to David, kicking off the year.
There's no other way to
All
start.
right, here we go.
Shane, not to sound like a broken record, but anything new on Faison?
No. I wish I had a different answer for you. He texted me earlier, and I called him back talking about Sewell, and I was on the phone with some people yesterday trying to get some things done from that standpoint, and got a lot of respect for Charlie Baker, who heads up the NCAA, and I'm confident that they will do the right thing when that time is.
Is legal action now becoming more of a possibility? Do you have to kind of look at that?
It's probably a better question for Sewell. I know you guys, I guess, will see him on Thursday, but right now our thought process is we're full speed ahead, planning on him being with us, and optimistic that the NCAA will make the right decision.
Shane, Jeff Collins joining staff. What can you tell us about him, and just what's your excitement level to bring him aboard?
Yeah, really. You guys know me, and I was, telling Jay Phillips and Will outside that I'm not a guy that just hires people to hire people. I'll never want to be the head coach that has the biggest staff in the country. I'm not that guy. I want everybody to, if you bring somebody into our program, there's a reason you're bringing them in. And certainly with Jeff, there's a reason. He's a really talented coach. You look at his background in coaching, the places he's been, who he's worked with, the roles that he's had. Obviously, he's been a defensive coordinator, and in the SEC, he's been in the personnel world doing that at Alabama for Nick Saban back when they really cranked it up as well. So he's got that experience. He's been a head coach, and I think anytime you can have multiple head coaches on your staff, that's a great thing. And we have that with Sean Elliott and Mike Shula and Mike Furry as well, guys that have been head coaches that are now. But I think the biggest thing, Jack, too, is he's a great recruiter, coach, but there's the familiarity that he has with so many people on our staff, and the familiarity that we have with him. He and I were graduate assistants together at Georgia Tech back in 2000 and shared an office together. This was back when you didn't have giant staffs of like analysts and quality control people. You basically had 2 GAs, and me and Jeff shared an office together back in 2000 and developed a good relationship and have kept in touch. But not just me, he and Clayton White worked together at Western Carolina. When he was the defensive coordinator at Florida, his defensive backs coach was Torian Gray. When he was the head coach at Georgia Tech, Trey Money, who works with our linebackers, was on that staff. Obviously, he and Derek Moore worked together at Georgia Tech. He and George Wynn worked together at Florida. I'm probably forgetting somebody, but there's people on our staff that know Jeff, and Jeff spent some time around our program. So he had other opportunities, but from a personal standpoint, professional standpoint, I think there were a lot of reasons he wanted to be here, and excited we were able to add him. But to answer your question, just his knowledge from a defensive standpoint. But I think anytime you can add experience in that room, and we got an amazing defensive staff already. Those guys have been together. They work well together. They're really knowledgeable. There's talented coaches in that room. But I think anytime you can just, add to not just the defensive staff, but the staff in general and make it better, you do, and I think you will.
Going back to David's question, if Faison is not cleared before practice starts, will he be able to practice, or what will he be able to do?
That's my plan. He asked me the same question today, and I told him, yeah. So until somebody tells me otherwise, he's practicing.
Going back to what Jack asked about Coach Collins, can you share what he's going to be doing with y'all specifically, or is that sort of a work in progress at this point?
I'd say when you talk to Clayton, he could probably, talk more, but it's something that Jeff visited us, Hale, back in March or April. He came and spent a day or two during spring practice. And at that point, he was kind of going around and visiting other college programs and NFL teams, and he wasn't really sure what was next. And it's something that he and I talked about along with Clayton kind of throughout the spring, and got a little bit more real as we got into the summertime. And it's things that we've been kicking around since the springtime. But certainly I think when you add another guy that has coordinated defenses, just the ideas that he can bring to that room to help Clayton and the rest of that staff, ideas that he can bring to me, as a former head coach as well, recruiting ideas. He's been around a lot of really good coaches and a lot of really good programs. But as far as the, day-to-day responsibilities and whatnot. It's we've got a plan, but it's also still a work in progress as we get going. He got to Columbia, I think, literally this afternoon, and is already at work.
Hey Shane, a little off topic, but renovations coming to Williams-Brice after the season. A lot of it is fan-related things, suites, but Jeremiah Donati said in an interview that some of the things done are going to directly impact the student athletes. Wanted to know how involved you are in that. What are some things you want to see done that will directly affect your players?
Yeah, great question. I'm excited about the upcoming improvements and enhancements to Williams-Brice. Is something that we talked about with recruits a lot, and was able to show pictures to them and their families of what it's going to look like here when it's all said and done, which is, it's already the greatest home field environment, in my opinion, in college football. And it's only going to be better when we're done with all of this. But yeah, Jeremiah, Jeff Crane, we've had conversations, and I've been, involved with other, people in our athletic department as well, but specifically to football, there's things that we've talked about and preliminary ideas, blueprints of what it may look like. Certainly you guys have been around here long enough and know what the facilities are there. I mean, it's still the same training room, locker room, walkway to the field for the most part that it was, coach's locker room that it was when I was here, 18 years ago, 19 years ago, whatever it was. And there have been some enhancements, but just being able to, there's a lot of space down there underneath the stadium that I think we can reconfigure and make better, from a recruiting standpoint on game days, from a player standpoint on game days, for a lot of people, that we can utilize that space better. And yes, I've been in a lot of those conversations and excited to, get that project going.
Shane, I know it's probably been asked and answered before, but let me revisit. Playing your alma mater in the season opener, big game, national television, all that sort of thing. What are, give us kind of general of your feelings of playing them and, given your history with that program, not just as a alum, but a former coach, son of a former coach, all those sort of things. Is this ideal, or would you rather be playing somebody else? Or are you happy to be playing this game?
I'm happy to be playing a marquee opener. It makes it a little bit different, obviously, because it's where I grew up, and my dad's got a statue outside the stadium. That's a little bit different, but I love playing marquee openers where you jump right into it. And you look around college football week one, there's so many great matchups like that across the country. So I think it makes the summers for the players even more exciting, knowing what's coming, being able to go into Atlanta, play in the Falcon Stadium, and what'll be a great crowd. We're the only game on that afternoon. There's a lot of things that I'm excited about. Obviously, there's storylines, there's build up with it being game one. Honestly, I'll be glad when it's over, because I'll be tired. I'll be ready to be done answering those questions. But it's cool too, though. But once, I started out at Georgia Tech as a graduate assistant. I've played Georgia Tech. I went to Mississippi or Tennessee next. I've played or coached against Tennessee. Then I went to Mississippi State. I've coached against Mississippi State. Then from there, I went to South Carolina. And when I was at Georgia, I coached against South Carolina. And then I went to Virginia Tech, and I guess I haven't coached against Virginia Tech yet. And then there's Georgia, and then being back at South Carolina, coached against Georgia. So I've been back or coached against the places that I've been, but certainly it's a little bit different because you got so many ties there. But whether it's me or, Torian Gray played a hell of a lot more snaps on the field than I did. So it's his alma mater as well. But there's just the relationships. Obviously, my dad still lives in Blacksburg, and he sees those people all the time. We were up in Greenville this morning, and one of the Virginia Tech assistant coaches is Pearson Prelo, that's from South Carolina, that Pearson and I were freshmen together at Virginia Tech in 1995. So, Brent Pry, the head coach, when I was a freshman at Virginia Tech, he was the defensive graduate assistant. So, there's just a lot of ties and relationships. But at the end, it's a place that I've got, great memories of, program and a team that I got a lot of respect for. It'll be a big challenge, certainly, and eager to compete. But, once we kick it off, it'll be about the guys on the field for sure. But, it was one of those that when I got hired, it was already on the schedule and seemed so far away. And now that it's here, it's, pretty neat. But I'll be glad when it's over. Yeah. Yeah, he's given the politically correct answer, saying he wants both teams to play well. I called my parents on Saturday. I was driving back from the beach, and my son and I were in the car, and we called my parents, and he was telling me that same story, and it was kind of, hold on now, you can tell Brent that, but you're sitting with us, so you're not going to sit with my wife and where she is, just hoping both teams play well. There better be a little bit more allegiance to us than just hoping you see a good game.
Shane, how are you guys doing from an injury standpoint going into camp? Anything new or anything you could share?
Yeah, I think very well. The summertime was, productive, and for the most part, we did okay there. I'll have a better update for you on Thursday. We'll meet tomorrow as a staff and kind of review where everything is with, Clint Haggard, our head athletic trainer, who celebrated a birthday over the weekend. Happy birthday, Clint. And get an update then. But we're in decent shape. Not a lot has changed since I saw you guys at the end of the spring, but got a couple updates for you, and I'll be better prepared to talk about that on Thursday after we meet, assuming you'll be there on Thursday. Okay, perfect then.
You've had such an edge with your special teams over the years, and like you said at SEC Media Days, you're starting over like the first time in your career you've had all new people.
Mm-hmm.
But with the group you've got to work with, do you think you can rebuild that same edge that you've had during your time?
Yeah, absolutely. Something we spend a lot of time on, Phil and Joe DeCamillis and Tim McConnell do an awesome job with our special teams, along with our entire staff that's involved. But I like the pieces we have. We've recruited the right guys there. We feel like need to be better in the return game than we were last year. And that starts, there's a lot of things, but you want to have capable returners, and it's something that we spend a lot of time on in spring practice and in the summertime as well. So eager to see us take a step there. And then, the personnel wise, they're very, very capable, and they're just unproven in a lot of ways. They're talented kickers and punters and snappers and holders, but they're going to be doing it for real for the first time ever really in the game here in 5 weeks. So I've got to do a great job, and our coaches of putting them in situations to try and prepare them as best we can. We did a little bit of that in the spring game, if you'll remember, bringing them out there to the middle of the field and kind of having a competition, but I've got full confidence in them, and it's not just them, it's the people around them. But you're right. We've made a lot of game-changing plays on special teams in the last 4 seasons, and that's been an edge for us, and it will have to be again this year as well.
Way in the back, Noah.
Hey, Coach. Yesterday, Lenoris and Dylan and a couple players held like a meet and greet event, and Lenoris unveiled his own action figure, and I think he's the first college football player ever to have their own action figure. How involved are you guys in sort of unique NIL opportunities like that? And did you ever think you'd be coaching a player with his own action figure?
How involved am I in that? Very little as well, but no, excited. Never thought I'd be coaching an action figure, nor did Coach Shula, our offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach, probably. But happy for our guys that they can capitalize on their name, image, and likeness and do things like that. I saw Lenoris's quotes from that about the meaning behind that and being able to give back, and happy for him and the rest of our guys to be able to do that as well. But no, there's a lot of things that are brand new to college athletics that all of us as coaches are dealing with for the first time, and coaching players that have their own action figures certainly is one of them.
This might have been a request from Pat DeMarco, but what was your lowest round of the summer?
See, I get in trouble. There's another coach that's gotten in trouble in this league, and I saw Kirby on vacation. He asked if I was playing golf, and I said, yeah. He's like, whatever you do, don't post your score, man, as well. But I'm not going to get into specifics on that. Hale, Pat knows where to find me as well. But I hit it pretty good this summer. But that's the problem with my golf game is I played Friday, and I put the clubs up, and I won't touch them again until late January, early February. But I hit it okay. Not like Pat DeMarco. I will say that. He gets to play a lot more than I do.
Anything else for Coach? If not, we have the assistant coaches available, and have at them.
All right. Thank you, guys. Oh, thank you for that. Yeah, appreciate that. I need to come to more press conferences. They don't give me a round of applause.
Bill Gunner, Jay Phillips live from the Birdies with Beamer out here at Cobblestone Park, where you just heard Jay. You have
you
heard
heard
Jay
me.
Phillips
That's
talk.
true. That's accurate. That's accurate.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that. But you did just hear Shane Beamer discussing his team. Not much information, and we'll talk more about that when we come back. Do want to let you know about my good friends at Mid-State Roofing, where for nearly 30 years they've been the leader in the roofing and waterproofing industry. It's proven history that is your assurance that their professionals will provide the proper advice, service, and results to the needs of your facility, and they're going to do it in a manner both safe and pleasing to you and your operation. And the reason being, they've been there for you and their customers 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for over 30 years. That's right. So give them a phone call. Doesn't matter when. 2:50 here on a Monday afternoon or 2:50 a.m. on a Tuesday morning. Mid-State Roofing will be there to help you. 803-356-1919. You can visit them online as well, midstateroofing.com. Again, 803-356-1919. That's how you can reach Mid-State Roofing. We're 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They are there to help you. So if you've got a leak, let Mid-State Roofing take a peek. We'll come back, wrap up the hour, discuss what Shane Beamer had to say, and maybe grab another coach or two. You're listening to the Halftime Show.
All right, wrapping up hour number 3 of the halftime show. Come back top of the hour, get some more interviews, get you reset as they're hanging out there at Birdies with Beamer, as Terry's also on his way back into the studio as well. But good conversations out there for the past couple of hours, and we'll get everything reset as we head into the top of the hour here, wrapping up today's edition of the halftime show.